Hey guys, it's Mia. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about sailing Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas, specifically out of Cape Liberty, which is in New Jersey. I'm going to be sharing all of my experiences, how I enjoyed the boat, everything literally down to the T, the booking, the cruise itself, the customer service, the food, the activities, everything that you need to know. I apologize in advance if I sound a little weird, if I sound out of breath. I'm recovering from a cold, so I sound a little disgusting, so bear with me, you guys. And for this video is because I really want to get into doing more travel content, especially with cruises. I definitely love cruising and I want to cruise a lot more often so I can do more videos like this, especially if you are taking your first cruise or you're just looking for a specific cruise that you want to go on and you want to learn a little bit more information, then this is the video for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Forgot to also mention that I do have pictures and videos that I will be including all throughout this video to kind of help give you guys some visuals as well as to what it was like on this cruise. So this is my third cruise that I have gone on. This was my second cruise as an adult, but my first cruise going when it was just like me and my boyfriend, like no parents, no. So I got to go through the boarding process, the booking process all on my own. So we're going to kind of break down. We're going to start off with going through the booking process. So I did book my cruise directly through Royal Caribbean. I did not go through a travel agent or a third party or anything like that. Now, I did consider it in the beginning. Now, I do have a premium like AAA membership, and you can get travel deals through your AAA membership. So I originally was going to be booking my cruise through AAA, but by the time I had looked at the price from AAA and the price through Royal Caribbean, it actually ended up being the exact same. And I think it was because I also booked so early. I booked my cruise in about October and I didn't sail until May. So I booked it pretty much in advance, like a couple months in advance. So I think because of how early I booked, I got a pretty decent deal on it. Now, Royal Caribbean has a lot of deals, especially if you do book early. They are constantly having deals. I actually have the app and I also frequently check their website. They do Black Friday deals, 4th of July. Anytime there's a holiday, there's most likely a deal. They had deals for Mother's Day, Father's Day. Literally, they're always having a deal. And again, when you book early, you can definitely find yourself to catch a deal. Now, there is rumors of people who talk a lot about getting cruise deals if you book at the very last minute because the cruise ships are trying to fill in those empty cabins. I personally have not had experience booking a cruise last minute. I will hopefully try to plan on doing that one day to see, are the deals actually really good if you book last minute? Right now, I don't really know, but I will say I booked my cruise pretty much in advance and I still felt like I got a pretty decent deal on it. Now, one of the most important things that I find that everyone should be doing if you are booking with Royal Caribbean is after you book your cruise, immediately download the Royal Caribbean app. That is going to be your best friend through and through. Not only are you going to be able to book any type of excursions, any type of like add-ons, but you'll also be able to keep up with when your cruise is actually happening, do your check-in process, literally everything you're going to be most likely doing through the app. So after you book your cruise, make sure you go ahead and download the Royal Caribbean app. Now, if you're someone like me where you booked your cruise in advance, even if you didn't book your cruise in advance, what you want to do after you download the app is you want to take a look at some of the deals that Royal Caribbean is offering. This is going to be really important because I can't even lie, the deals that they had on the app, I would 100% recommend anybody book those deals before actually getting on the ship, because once you get on the ship, everything is going to pretty much be regular price. Now, when we were there were people walking around trying to offer people deals for the restaurants, but other than that, pretty much everything else was at regular price. So book any of the type of activities or things that you want to do beforehand through the app, because they're going to be offering you a bunch of deals before you actually get on the ship. So you're going to want to make sure you do that if you are looking to do any type of like extra activities or anything like that. So for example, when it comes down to like booking those like early deals, for example, for me, I wanted the Wi-Fi package. Like when I cruise, I personally have to have Wi-Fi. Like I don't like to cruise without Wi-Fi. Some people like it because it's like, oh, I'm getting away, da da da. Me personally, I like to have it because people sometimes like say like when you're on a cruise, you're going to be constantly doing something. That is true, but at the same time, I feel like people don't realize that you do have downtime when you're on your cruise. Like, because you're constantly doing stuff, you find yourself going to your room to want to take a nap, going to your room to kind of just relax before you do your next activity. And when you're just sitting there in your room, you kind of want something to kind of do. So being able to have Wi-Fi is really great to be able to kind of get on your phone. I do like read and stuff like that. I bring those type of activities with me, but I can't travel without Wi-Fi. I'm sorry. Like, I like to have it. And this was actually my first cruise with Wi-Fi. My last two cruises, I cruised and I did not have Wi-Fi. So there were times where I was just sitting there and I was like, dang, like this will be a great time to be able to just like get on my phone, have something to do. Because when I say nothing will work, like nothing will work. Like on my cruise, I couldn't even play games on my phone. Like literally nothing was working. It was like so crazy. So I personally think the Wi-Fi packages are 100% worth it, but that is a preference kind of thing. But when I booked my Wi-Fi package, I did book it in advance. Now, I probably got, let's see, I can't remember how much percent off I got, but my Wi-Fi package ended up being about $130 for the entire 7 days. I think I spent between like 130 to like 170. I just found my receipt. So I paid $139 for my Wi-Fi package. Now, once I got onto the boat, the internet packages had went all the way up to regular price. So I think when my boyfriend tried to get the Wi-Fi, because he didn't buy the Wi-Fi package in advance, so when we got on the boat, he was trying to get Wi-Fi and it was definitely way more than 139. I think it was like in the 200s for all 7 days, something like that. So if you are looking to get Wi-Fi, book your Wi-Fi before you get on the boat. So like that's kind of like an example so that you guys have an idea of like how the prices can increase. Same thing for the spa. When I was looking at the spa packages online, they had massages for $100, $120, $150. But once I got on the boat, they were like $199, $299 prices. Like they were very expensive. So keep in mind the different things that you're seeing online. If that's an activity that you want to do, book it then instead of waiting until you actually get on the boat because the price will increase. Now, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the packages, specifically the drink package. Now, anytime I go on a cruise, I always get a drink package. I don't know where people have gotten that whole you don't need a drink package, just bring a water bottle, just bring your liquor on the boat. I don't know where people are getting that from. I guess people are just being cheap. They don't want to pay, but I will always pay for a drink package. I don't care. I'm always going to pay for a drink package. The drink package are 100% worth it. And I be like using the mess out of my drink package. And I'm going to talk about some really good ways to make sure that you're getting your money's worth when you're using that drink package on Royal. So one thing that I do feel like is Royal Caribbean, their drink package is very expensive. I think compared to Norwegian, their drink package is pretty pricey. I can't lie. It's a pretty penny. My drink package ended up being $1,200 for both my boyfriend and I, and we had to get the deluxe package because they only had a regular package which had like soda and water and juice, and then the deluxe package obviously included like alcohol. So we went with the deluxe package. It was about $1,200. I think what we would probably do next time is book our drink package last minute. So we booked our drink package about a month before we actually got onto the boat. But then a week before our cruise, the drink package actually ended up going down from $1,200 to $900. So we were kind of like disappointed because we were like, dang, like we could have saved so much more money. So we know now moving forward when we sail with Royal, we will probably just wait to book our drink package a little last minute because the deal was just that good. But the drink package, 100% worth it. Now, your drink package is going to be on your actual card. I know all boats are a little bit different, but your drink package is going to be on your card. So whenever you tap your card, they can see that you have a deluxe drink package or whatever type of drink package that you have. Now, the best way to make sure that you're getting your money's worth when you are using that drink package. Now, if you have the deluxe package, my best recommendation is whenever you're in the dining room, like the Windjammer, whenever you're at a bar, always ask for a bottle of water or a canned soda and take it straight to your room and stock it up in your fridge. Consistently stock up your fridge because that was my favorite thing about Royal and their drink package because as I'm comparing it to like Norwegian, you had to actually pay for any type of bottled water no matter Well, I don't really know because my aunt did book the cruise for us. So I don't know what kind of drink package we had, but I just know with Royal, we had to pay for bottled water, bottled soda, canned soda, anything like that. But with Royal, it is included in that deluxe package. So my boyfriend and I, we would literally go and we would ask for canned sodas, bottled water, and we would just make sure we would keep it stocked in our fridge so that overnight or whatever the case may be, we would always have it right there in our room. The only thing that I do wish was a little bit different when it comes down to like the drinks and like the drink package is that I wish Royal had more drink menus available on the boat, because a lot of the bars that we went to, a lot of the restaurants, it was really hard to know what kind of drink to order because there weren't really a whole lot of drink menus. Now, there was like a small drink menu and that we saw in the casino, but it's kind of like you kind of have to be like, I don't know, like my boyfriend and I, we do drink, but we don't drink enough to know all of the different like drinks that people get at bars. So we were kind of looking for menus. So that was the only thing I wish that they had were more menus. So we were trying like a couple of little drinks, but I felt like we were kind of sticking to just what we knew, which were like daiquiris and margaritas, because we're young, we don't really know much of like what else there is out there. But I do kind of wish they had more drinks because I was going on TikTok to kind of see like what kind of drinks people were ordering, and they had all these like fancy names and different things, and I'm like, how do I know how to order this if there is no menu? So that's the only thing I wish Royal had, were just more drink menus so that I could actually know what like drinks were actually available. But for the most part, I thought the drinks were pretty good. The only thing that I would say I also didn't really love about the drink package are the drinks being watered down. So if you ever hear a rumor about people saying that the drinks on Royal are pretty watered down, I personally did experience that on the cruise, which is why I mainly focused on getting canned sodas and not filling up my Royal cup as much as I did on the boat. Now, once you pay for your drink package, you are going to have to get a Royal Caribbean cup. So, this is the cups that Royal Caribbean has on the boats. Now, my boat had 3 different colors. I don't know if the colors are different for the different boats, but my boat had pink, a tealish color, and like a dark blue. So these are the cups that you're going to get. I had no idea about the cups. Royal Caribbean does not advertise or tell you that you need to get a cup. So it's kind of one of those things you kind of have to either figure out, ask someone, or either you've already known because you've been on a boat. I did not know. My mom was the one who actually told me about the cups, and that's how I was able to actually go. So I didn't even get my cup until like night 2 or 3 because I didn't even know that this was a part of the drink package. So, like I said, with these cups, this is what you're going to be using to refill your soda. Now, there are soda machines all around the boat. You cannot use a regular Stanley or a regular water bottle to fill up your soda at the soda machines. You have to have your Royal cup. Now, let me tell you guys something. I watched a TikTok of a guy who said that if you're ever on a Royal Caribbean cruise, to take your cup, break the cup, and take the sensor and stick it on your own cup. Please, please, please do not do that. I would not recommend anybody to do that because it will be very embarrassing for you to go to a machine with your own cup and you have a sensor and a staff member finds out, because they will ban you, they will do whatever that they need to do to tell you that is not okay. That is something that you should not be doing. Don't try to be sneaky because it's not worth it. It's not worth getting in trouble about it. Just use your cup. Now, personally, I really don't think it's all the way worth it because the soda machines are pretty watered down in my opinion. I felt like the sodas were very watered down. I love Coke. I love soda, period. But with soda, what is so important to me is that carbonation. I love the carbonation to be strong. These sodas to me were very flat. Very, very flat. So that's why I personally stayed with the canned sodas or just getting like a frozen drink or something, or like a water. But I did find that to be very common with a lot of the soda machines. I can't even lie to you. Now, it is cool, like the concept is cool, being able to have these cups, still being able to bring these cups home because the cups are super cute. I also really love that the cups are sip cups. They're not like straws or anything. So the cup, you can sip it from here and then you can just move it to lock it so that it won't spill. And then you can just open it. So the concept is great. It's really nice. And like I said, there's a sensor at the bottom. So that's how you're able to get your drinks. Now, another thing, I don't really know if you can really try to like get one and then on your next cruise not get a drink package and then try it again. I don't think that's how it works. I think the sensors are activated a specific type of way per cruise or something. I don't really know. You can test it out if you want, but that is something that I'm not really aware of. But this is typically what you're going to get with your drink package, and this is what you're going to be able to use to refill your soda throughout the cruise on all the different soda machines. Last thing too, in order to get your cup, you must go to a bar. So that's another reason why I didn't really know how the cups work, because again, they don't really tell you that. I'm sure it could have been in the fine print on the drink package, but for me, I just was not knowledgeable. They don't tell you that. So for your cup, in order to get your cup, you must go to a bar. I think it's best to try to find one of the bars that are on the main level with where like the pizza is and all that kind of stuff. You can go to one of the bars and just say, hey, I have a drink package. I just came to claim my cup. They're just going to check your card. They're going to give you a cup. But I'm pretty sure a lot of the bars offer the cups. Not every single bar has the cups. I'm like the casino. I don't think they have the cups there. But that's pretty much how you are able to obtain your cup. Next, we're going to talk about the point system. So Royal Caribbean does have a point system. Now, on the app, it tells you that you're going to accumulate your points every night of the cruise. So after the first night, you'll get your point. After the second night, you'll get your point. Now, your points, that is not really how it works. Your points do not accumulate until after the cruise is over. So once the cruise is over, you go home. About a couple days later, you're gonna get a notification on the app, and it's gonna tell you that your points have been uploaded, and you get 1 point per night of the cruise. So those are how the cruise points work. Now, you can obtain more cruise points by also going to the casino. So we did play slots, but we did not tap the card. So I think that's why we did not obtain any points from going to the casino, because I did not actually tap my card at the slot machine. There are these little like readers that you can actually tap your card. We also played other casino games, but those games I don't think are eligible for cruise points. It's only the slot machines. So keep that in mind. If you are going to play slots and you are putting like your money in the machine, you got to remember to tap your cruise card so that you can also get points. But going to the casino is another way that you can obtain more cruise points and potentially win different things like a free cruise. And then the last thing we're going to talk about when it comes to booking is going to be the check-in process. This is why I said it's very important that you have the app on your phone. Again, very, very important to have that app on your phone, because if it wasn't for me doing all of my check-in procedures already on the app, I feel like my boarding day would not have gone as smooth as it did. So on the app, it is going to ask you a bunch of different questions. It's typically going to be the week of the cruise, a couple of days before your cruise actually starts, the day you board. They're going to start sending you different things for you to do. So they have a check-in process, which requires you putting in like your information and then your card information. Your card is going to be very important because this is going to be what is attached to your account, so that if you make any purchases on the boat, if you go to any specialty restaurants, they will charge that card. So you want to make sure you have that card on file, because if you don't have a card on file, trust me, they will be hunting you down, because that happened to me. I had a card on file, but I had just put a card up there. It was like one of my credit cards I had put up there. It wasn't the actual card I wanted to use. And I thought I could change it when I got on the boat, but I had to go to customer service. It didn't give me an opportunity to change it on the actual app. So because of that, every time they tried to charge my card, it was not going through. So keep that in mind. They were hunting me down. They were like, your card's not working. They were calling my room. Like, trust me. So put that card on file. Make sure you have the right card on file that you want to use. I had, again, just did it because I was like kind of rushing through the process. But that is very important. So it's going to ask you for that information, your card information, and that is, again, what they're going to be using to charge you. Again, with the check-in, they're going to also ask you questions about health. So if you've ever been like tested for COVID, have you been feeling sick, all that different kind of stuff. So do your check-in process before you even get on your boat, before you board. Do it early, because it will make checking in so smooth, which is why we're going to be moving into the next topic, which is going to be boarding day. So if you guys see me looking over here, it's because I have like a checklist of everything that I want to be talking about today. So now we're going to be getting into actually the boarding day. So we're going to start off with Cape Liberty itself. We're going to be kind of talking a little bit about Cape Liberty and what that process was like sailing from Cape Liberty. Now, Cape Liberty is located in New Jersey. It's about 20 minutes from Newark Airport. And one of the things that is very important, this would be for any cruise, but specifically my experience with Cape Liberty, get there early. Do not get there on time. Get there early. Now, my boarding time was 1 o'clock. Now, it said that we had a boarding time of 1, but technically 1 o'clock was the boarding time for everybody. Everybody can get on and start check-in at 1 o'clock. The building, they were not letting anybody in at like 12:30, 12:45. No, they did not open those doors for everyone until 1 o'clock. Now, my ship was the only ship there that was boarding that day, but like I said, 1 o'clock was the time that they were letting everybody on. And yeah. So my mom actually ended up picking us up, and we got to the cruise port about 10 a.m. I think she picked us up around 7, so we got there around 10 a.m. And again, boarding was not until 1. Once we got there at like 10, that is when traffic got insane. So we were like all the way on the outside of the cruise port, and the traffic was like that bad, like from where we are. Now, I don't really know exactly the roads and everything, but I just know we were like right outside of the cruise port, and just to get from where we were all the way to the cruise, it said that it was only like 1.7 miles, but it was going to take us an hour. An hour. That's how bad the traffic was to get into the cruise port. So if you are sailing out of Cape Liberty, you need to make sure that you are arriving early, especially for those who are parking their cars at the port. You need to get there early. They do have a parking garage there for people that want to park there. It does cost, I can't remember how much it costs, but I feel like it was between $20 and $30 per day. So there is like a little parking garage. Now remember, staff has to park there as well, and it's thousands of people, so you need to be getting there early. You don't want to get there and realize that you got to go to a whole different parking lot to pay and park and then walk. Like, don't be somebody that's being like trying to figure things out last minute. So if you are trying to prepare for any type of last minute things that come up like that, that is exactly why you should be arriving early. So thankfully we arrived early. So when we were waiting in line, like I said, we got there around 10 a.m. and we were waiting in line for over an hour. We didn't actually get to the front of the line to actually get out and drop our luggage off until about 12 o'clock. That's how long we were waiting in line, because that's how bad traffic was. So keep that in mind if you are going to be sailing from this port. Now, once we actually finally made it to the front of the line to get out of our cars, pull our luggage out, do all the things, once we got out, I printed out my luggage tags, but I did not staple them to our bags. Now, there are going to be workers that are standing there that are directing traffic, they're there helping people with their bags. They do have staplers on them to help staple your luggage tags to your bags. But I'm sorry, y'all, I was getting a little distracted. I was looking at my computer. So there are workers there that do have staplers that are there to help you staple your luggage tags to your bags, but they do not have printers. There are no printers. So if you forgot to print your luggage tag, to be honest, I don't really know what the process is like. I don't know if you're going to have to carry your bags in. I don't know if you have to go all the way inside for someone to print it out, but they don't have printers. So print out your luggage tags. I cannot stress how many videos I've seen online of people forgetting to print out their luggage tags, people forgetting their passports, their travel documents. Those are very important things that you need. So now that we're kind of talking about the travel documents, please make sure you have that as well. If you do not have that information, it will be really hard for you to get on your boat, and your check-in process is going to be hell. Like, it's not going to be an easy process, and they might even tell you might not be able to get on the boat depending on whatever travel documents you forgot to have. So bring your passport. I feel like just bringing your passport is the very easy thing to do. Bring a passport. Now, a lot of cruises allow people to travel with a birth certificate, but you need to have a physical copy of the birth certificate. But again, just to make things easier, get a passport. Just get your passport and bring your passport, and make sure you have your ID just in case. But those are going to be very important. I'm pretty sure I don't know if we needed our IDs, but again, the passport make sure you have your proper travel documents. Now, Royal Caribbean will send out emails a couple of days before your cruise to make sure that you have the proper travel documents. Even when you do the online check-in, it's going to ask you to scan those travel documents. So even if you scan it on your check-in, does not mean that you should not bring it on boarding day. You still need to bring it. So make sure you have the proper travel documents so that you're not having to, wait in line or get sent home and waste all your money. So now I'm going to be kind of talking a little bit about what the process was like actually getting in. So when we got once we had dropped off our luggage, put our luggage tags on, and again, this is not something that is mandatory because I did meet a couple as we were checking in, and they had noticed that me and my boyfriend did not have our luggage, and they were asking where could they leave their luggage, but they were already about to go through security, and we were telling them that luggage had to be left outside with one of the workers that have like the little push carts, but it's not mandatory. So if you do not want to give your luggage to somebody, or you did forget your luggage tags, it's okay. But still print those luggage tags out. But it is going to be okay because you can just take your luggage on by yourself, but just know it's going to be heavy. There's the elevator lines tend to be long. So if you want to go up the escalator, you can. Just know you're going to have to carry it, okay? Just keep that in mind. But specifically for actually getting on, so after we dropped off our luggage, we had to go and wait in line before they actually opened up the doors for going inside of the port. So the line was so long. Like, I have videos. This is where I'm going to start inserting the videos throughout this video. I have videos of us getting there. The line was so long. Like, we had to walk so far because the line was so long. But when I tell you guys, this line moved so quick, I started taking the video. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put the timestamps on the screen, but I probably started taking the video right at like, I don't know, 12:50, something like that. We got in once it hit 1 o'clock and they opened those doors, or was it 1 o'clock? Yeah. Once it hit like 1 o'clock, we made it inside of the building probably right at like 1:05, 1:10. Like, that's how quickly the line was moving. And we probably got through security and actually on the boat by like 1:20, like 1:20, 1:25. That is how fast the check-in process was. And I definitely know it has to also do with the fact that we did everything on the app. So everything was such a smooth process. So once they actually open the doors, you're going to go inside and you're going to start going through the lines. They do have a separate line for people who have like suites and stuff. And they also have a separate line for people who have the key package. I personally would probably invest in getting the key package maybe 1 year. Basically, it allows you to skip all the major lines. You have like your own separate check-in that you go through. You can get on the boat pretty quickly. You even get like a nice meal or something. It's like a really cool package, but they do have a separate line for people who do have that key package. But even if you don't have the key, I still feel like the line moved very, very fast. So you get in line and you start going through security. So if you do have your luggage, you're going to have to put your luggage on through that belt. They have to scan it through. But you put all your luggage, all your little knickknacks, whatever the hell you got, you put it in, you go through security just like you would TSA at an airport. The only thing is you don't have to like take off your shoes. You don't have to take off your jewelry, nothing like that. You just have to take off anything out of your pockets. You go through the metal detectors, and then from there, you're going to start getting in line for them to be able to scan like your boarding pass and everything. So we added our boarding passes to our Apple Wallet. We scanned our boarding pass, he scanned our passport, and then we were immediately on the boat right after that. Super smooth. Now we did see people getting sent like to a separate like area, and those had to have been people that forgot to do something on their app, people like who maybe forgot something. So if you forgot anything or anything like that, just keep that in mind because they were like pushing people to a separate side for whatever reason. Thankfully, that was not us. We got through the line very, very quickly and straight onto the boat. Like I said, literally within 20 minutes. It was so fast. Now, once we got onto the boat, I know a lot of times people talk about like when you get on the cruise, your room is not ready, so you want to try to find little things to do until your room's ready. For Royal Caribbean, this is a little bit different because I know with Norwegian, when I got on the boat, we had to wait to be called to then go to our room. They would say, if you're group this and this, then your room is now ready. So I know for Norwegian that is true, but for Royal, that is not true. The rooms are already ready. So when we got on the boat, we went straight to our room. That was the first thing we did because I wanted to get our key card. Because with Norwegian, they give you the key card before you even get on the boat, which is why you have to wait for your room to be ready. But Royal, your room is already ready and your key card is actually at your room. So as soon as we got on the boat, we went straight to our room. So in order to know what room you're going to be in, it is going to be on your app. So if you go to your app, it's going to have like your name and it's going to have like a number. So for example, my number was 14521. So 14 means the deck that I'm on. So I was on deck 14. 521 was our room number. Now, I was thankfully, I was using my brain. It was easy for me to figure that out because when we got on the boat, I just was looking at my phone and I was like, I'm just going to assume we're on 14. Like, it just made sense. Like, it made sense. So that's how I was able to know. But we went straight to our rooms. Once we went to our room, we had our key cards that were magnetically on the door, so they just had like them sitting on our door, so we were able to immediately grab our key cards and go straight into our rooms. I did travel when it was on my birthday, so my card was like specially decorated for my birthday. It had like birthday decorations on the card. So if you ever travel during your birthday, then that's the like one of the cool parts about it is that they add the decorations on there for you, which is really nice. So we went straight to our room. Our room was nice. It was clean and we were able to see the room. I had like an inside cabin, so we didn't have like any windows or anything like that, but it was still a really, really nice room. Personally, sometimes I kind of like having those rooms without the windows because it gets really dark at night and I love to sleep when it's that dark. So yeah, that's kind of like a preference thing, but we were still like on a pretty nice floor. We were surrounded by other people who had like some suites and stuff. So we had a pretty cool floor. And then also we got to meet our butler slash like room attendant. He was like there waiting for us. He was like in our section because like the room attendants have like their own like sections that they take care of, so they're already there waiting to meet all of the different people that are going to be on the in their section. So we got to meet our like room attendant slash butler slash housekeeper, who basically came and he was like, hi, my name is so and so, I'll be taking care of you guys. If you guys need anything, let me know. I clean your room twice a day. So they do clean the rooms twice a day. They come in the morning and they also come in like the late afternoon ish, like around like 4 or 5 o'clock, and they come and clean the rooms twice. And yeah, so he basically was just introducing himself and everything like that. So that's kind of like how our check-in went. So after we checked into our room, then we went to the safety briefing. So they do have a safety briefing that you can do on the app, but if you do it on the app, you still have to go to your safety briefing in person and just like confirm that you understand what you watched, like you understand the videos. Now, from my understanding, I thought the point was to watch the video so that when you go to the safety briefing, they're just checking off your name and that they weren't going to demonstrate, but they still demonstrated. But again, it wasn't a big deal. It went by very fast. It was literally in 60 seconds. Like he literally did everything in 60 seconds and he signed us off. So your safety briefing is very quick. It's not going to be like a long speech or anything. Like a lot of people get on the boat and they don't immediately do the safety briefing because they swear it's this like long thing. It's not. We got it done in under 60 seconds, like seriously. But when it was time to actually like for the boat to leave, the announcer had announced that 800 people had not done their safety briefing. So that shows you how many people like don't immediately do it. So please get it done early. Just get it done, get it out the way so you don't have to worry about it, because the boat won't leave until everyone gets their safety briefing completed. Now, obviously on day one, the crowds were insane. Like everyone's trying to figure out where everything is. Everyone's trying to go eat, obviously, because we've been waiting in traffic. We've been waiting in line. So the buffet, which is also called the Windjammer on Royal Caribbean ships, was extremely packed. It was so hard for us to find a seat. We did end up finding a seat, but like I said, it was really, really hard because of how packed it was. Everywhere we went was so freaking packed because, again, it's the first day on the boat. Everybody's trying to figure where things are at. And I honestly feel like that's the case for a lot of cruises. Like typically day one, it's going to be a lot going on. After day one, that's when things start to slow down because people kind of figure out where different things are and they figure out what they're going to do for the day. Now, I always say the pool is going to be like always the hardest because everyone wants to go to the pool. So typically if it's not day one, it's going to be day two early in the morning where the pool is going to be jam packed. Everybody and their mom is going to be at the pool. So keep that in mind. So if you want to go to the pool, you need to get up early in the morning. You need to get a seat, all that kind of stuff, because it was packed. Like it was a lot of people. Now, just keep that in mind. First day, crowds are going to be pretty packed. Now we're going to get into talking about the activities on the boat. Now, Royal Caribbean is one for having activities. If you are thinking about going on a cruise, it is your first cruise, or you're just trying to figure out what is going to be the best fit for you and your family, or you and your partner, I would have to say Royal Caribbean is a perfect cruise for families. They're great for group trips because of them being so activity based. Now, when I think of cruises like Virgin Voyages, MSC, Norwegian, I tend to see those cruises to be catered to either more couples where you're just trying to go on like a calm little couple trip. They're great for obviously older people like seniors, and they're also great for people who want to solo travel and they're not looking to really do a whole lot. If you're really just trying to go and you're trying to relax. But if you're looking to go on a cruise and actually have fun and you want actual activities to do, I definitely think like Carnival and Royal Caribbean are going to be your best options. Specifically, like, because even when I went on my Carnival cruise, I felt like there was definitely a good amount of activities, but I feel like just Royal takes the cake for activities. They literally have everything. Now, I wrote a list down of some of the activities that they have that I'm going to just quickly kind of talk a little bit about. So, first are going to be the shows. Now, Royal Caribbean has a lot of different shows. There are some shows that you do have to reserve for, and it's not that you're reserving a seat, it's more so you're just kind of reserving your spot, because once that show starts, they're going to let the people who reserved come in first and pick a seat before they open it up to everybody else. So that is kind of what that comes in, and I really only saw that being done for the Aqua 80 show. All the other shows were pretty much you could just kind of like go in and just get a seat and go sit down and go watch the shows. But they had a lot of really good shows. They had an ice skating show. They had the Aqua 80 show. The Aqua 80 show is going to be where they're like diving into the water, everything. I have some clips as well for that. The Aqua 80 show was amazing. I personally felt like that was the best show that Royal honestly offered. It was truly amazing. Ice skating show, really cute, really like cutesy. They don't really talk at all. That one has like no talking. The Aqua 80 doesn't have talking either, but they are kind of like lip syncing in a way. The ice skating was just more of them kind of like dancing and all that other stuff. Really cute, loved it. They did have cats. If you're familiar with Broadway, they do have cats. I'm a Broadway person, but honestly, Cats is like the worst Broadway show I've ever seen in my life. I don't like Cats at all. So, but that was an option that they had. They also have like a movie theater where they're playing like actual movies. The movies were like semi new, not like super old. Like I think the oldest show that or movie that they were playing was like Shrek, but like a classic. But they were still playing like the newest Super Mario. They played Superman, which was like the newest Superman that had recently came out. They had played Wicked, the new Wicked 2, the second one. So they had a pretty good option for when it came down to movies as well. Next is going to be the casino. Again, great for the older people. There are two types of casinos. There's a smoking casino and a non-smoking casino. Personally, if you are really sensitive when it comes to smoking, because my boyfriend and I are a little sensitive when it comes to like the smell of like cigarettes, but we honestly enjoyed our time in the smoking casino other than the actual non-smoking, and it was because of size. The non-smoking casino is very small. It's literally the size of a room. It's like literally just a room. It's so small. I hate that for the non-smokers that the casino had to be that small. I feel like Royal should have definitely increased the size, because there are a good amount of people that don't want to be around other people that are smoking. Now, in the smoking one, it's a lot bigger. So keep in mind, if you are going to go in there, my boyfriend and I, we don't smoke, but even just being in there, our clothes were like lingering of the scent of cigarettes and stuff like that. But it was just bigger. It was bigger. There was more things to do and play because of the size. So that was kind of like what we kind of experienced when it came down to the casino. And we also really enjoyed going to the casino bar because it wasn't as packed as a lot of the other bars on the boat. We found the casino bar to be the least packed, which is kind of strange, but it was. But yeah, next are going to be some of the game shows. So they have like little like Family Feud type of game shows, Guess the Price, or If the Price is Right, something like that. Now, for a lot of those game shows or the games, bingo, it does cost money. You do have to like pay for your bingo card. If you're playing If the Price is Right, you do have to pay to even play the game. So keep that in mind. My boyfriend and I were able to go and actually watch a lot of these games be played, which was great for us because now we know when we go on our second Royal Caribbean cruise, we know what games are actually worth us paying for and actually playing. So that is kind of like what it was for some of the games. Now, not all of the games cost money. So like the trivias that they had like a lot of trivias, the karaoke's, that's not more of a game, but that's an activity. But karaoke, those things do not cost money. But more so like bingo, if the price is right, those were some of the games that did cost money. They also had basketball, which was what my boyfriend was doing pretty much all the time on the boat. He really, really loved basketball. Now, they did have a basketball tournament quite a lot on the boat. I think they had like a basketball tournament almost every single day. Now, you do win a nice little like Royal Caribbean medal. They had a medal. My boyfriend won 2 medals for playing basketball, but there's no like major prize. But it's great for kids, it's great for young adults, it's great for really the adults too. My boyfriend was playing with so many different age ranges. I think the oldest person he played with was in his like 50s or 60s, and the youngest person he was playing with was probably like 12. So he played with different age groups, different age ranges. He had a lot of fun, met a lot of people doing that. So it's also another really great activity. And during the day, like during the morning hours, the basketball court is actually turned into pickleball. So if you are into pickleball, that is also free. They do have pickleball typically in like the morning hours. Next is ice skating. So they do have ice skating on the boat, which is really, really cool. This was an activity that I really wanted to do, but I was unable to do it because I did get a little tiny bit sick on the boat. So I didn't miss out on ice skating, but it was a really cool activity that they had. Now the ice skating did not become available until about day 4-ish, like between day 4 and 5 was when they started to open up ice skating. So ice skating was not something that was available right then and there on day 1 where they had ice skating all throughout the day. They are changing the rooms for the different activities. So the room that they were using for ice skating was actually turned into laser tag, and then it was turned into ice skating. Like they were constantly like changing the room, so keep that in mind. So ice skating was not available on the first day, but it is an activity that they do have. Again, you do have to reserve it because they can only have a certain amount of people in the room at a time, and you get about 45 minutes to an hour to ice skate before having to either reserve it again or just like, whatever. So, but yeah, ice skating, really cool activity to have on a freaking cruise ship. Like I mentioned, again, with the ice skating, they had laser tag. That was an activity that we did. That was a lot of fun. Same thing with laser tag. You do have to reserve it because they can only have a certain amount of people to play the actual game. So we reserved laser tag twice. So much fun. I mean, we played the first game with like a really cool like family, had a lot of fun, super fun. If you play laser tag, then but that was honestly really, really cool. Now they also have 2 other activities that are on like the boardwalk side, which is going to be the rock climbing. Rock climbing looked pretty cool. I'm afraid of heights, so I was definitely not rock climbing. My boyfriend was thinking about doing it. It is very high. It is very, very high on the boat. I don't know if I have a video of it, but it is super high. But they did have rock climbing, and they also had the like slide. It's like a regular slide. It's not like a water slide. It's just a regular like slide that they had that you could go down. The slide was open and closed at times. If it was ever like a super windy day, they were closing the slide. So you can always check to see if the slide is open, but that is another option. And then of course, water slides. They did have water slides by the pool as well, which is something that my boyfriend did, and he said that was also a lot of fun. In the boardwalk, they were offering axe throwing every couple of days. They had axe throwing for different times. Now the axe throwing, I don't think that was something that you had to reserve. I can't really remember, but it wasn't another activity that they had. They also had putt-putt, which is like the miniature golf. That was really cool. You don't have to reserve that. You can just go whatever's available you can use, but they did have putt-putt. You can do as many rounds as you want. They also had like table tennis, pool, like literally so many different activities. If you're unfamiliar with like duck hunting on cruises, this is not something that is just on Royal. This is on lots of different cruises. Basically, lots of cruise lines do like where you can hide and find little rubber duckies, kind of like what Jeeps do. Like if you're a Jeep owner, then you would know. But they do the same thing on cruises. So a lot of people will bring like a bunch of rubber duckies to hide around the cruise, and people will find them. It's up to you if you want to duck someone. So sometimes people have like little mailboxes where you can put ducks in their mailbox at their door. sometimes the boat will host like a challenge. If you find a special ducky, then you'll receive this or whatever, blah blah blah. Some people like to collect the duckies to take them home to remember their trip, whatever the case may be. But there are ducks. Now, if you didn't bring ducks like me and my boyfriend did because we were very unfamiliar about the whole ducking thing, then you can actually go to the arcade, and they have an arcade machine where you can actually like do the claw machine for the ducks. So that's what we did. We actually paid for the claw machine, and we probably won about 4 or 5 ducks, and we just took them around the boat and we started hiding them and placing them in different places. And we also found some as well that we kept. So if you're unfamiliar with the ducking thing, that's probably going to be really cool and really fun. That was something that we learned. So we had a lot of fun doing the ducks. And now that we know our future cruise, we definitely plan on bringing ducks so that we can like duck people and stuff. And the last thing I want to talk about when it comes down to activities are going to be the clubs, okay? Honestly, for my 21 and up people, or my 18 and up people, but you know, if you're 21 and up, then you know, drinking and stuff at the clubs. But the clubs, now specifically on this boat for Oasis of the Seas, the Club Blaze like for me was my favorite club, the one that I felt like we had the most fun at. Now in the solarium, I think that's what it's called, it's also like an adult only area. They have like a bar, they also have a place where you can eat in there, but that also turns into like a club kind of scene as well at night, and they kind of host some things in there for adults on the late night. Now my boyfriend did go with a couple of people that he met on the boat to enjoy that while I went and did some other stuff. But the nights that him and I went together, we were specifically going to the Blaze Club that was on the Oasis boat, and that one I felt like was the best. That was really fun. We had a lot of fun. I mean, it was the best because it was the only one I went to, but it was really fun. Now a lot of people talk about Carnival Cruise being the cruise that has the black music, the good music, and is the fun boat. I personally, as someone who has been on a Carnival cruise, I personally feel like Royal Caribbean is just as fun as Carnival. It is just as fun. I just feel like with Carnival, sometimes in my opinion, it could just be a little too ghetto and a little too black, and it's okay. I'm not saying anything against being a little too black, but when I say a little too black, like I mean it can get a little ghetto sometimes, and something wrong with that. But it's just like Royal, I just feel like people like claim that Royal is not fun, and that's not true. I really don't know what people are talking about at the club. First things first, at the club, they were playing our music, y'all. They were playing black music. Literally, the first night, my boyfriend asked the DJ if he could play No Hands. And when I was on Norwegian, my friend had asked the DJ if they could play like a song, and they told her no because they only play EDM. They only play the unts, 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 which was kind of crazy. At a different club that night, they did end up playing some black music. But with Royal, the DJ was taking song requests, which I thought was very nice. That is something that I wanted to really highlight in my review after I had got off the boat. They asked you to do like a review. That was something that I like to highlight in my review, because sometimes like DJs, you know, they don't want to play what, you know, any request. They want to play what they want to play. This DJ was so accommodating. He played No Hands by Waka Flocka because my boyfriend requested it. And then from the rest of that night on, he was playing Beyonce, Cardi B, literally like rap music, hip hop, trap music. He was playing everything. Like the music was there. Like it was catering to the blacks. Okay. It was catering to us. Okay, y'all. And then on night 3, after when we went to the club, same thing. We didn't even have to ask for him to play a song. I mean, he was just playing good music, and it was great because he was playing a good mixture of music for everybody. So when people were like, oh, it's not fun, the club was lit. I have videos and all that. The club was lit. I'm gonna kind of insert a couple like little clips and stuff, but I don't know what people are talking about because we had a time. The club was lit. I was meeting people in there. We was having a whole lot of fun. So I can't relate when people say that it's not fun, that Carnival is the only fun cruise, because I had a lot of fun in the clubs. All right, guys, my camera started dying, so I'm switching over to this mic. So I will be kind of just holding it and I'm not gonna put it on my shirt, but it's just gonna be easier for me to hold it because, yeah. Anyway, we only have a couple more topics left. So the next topic that I want to get into is the food on the boat. The food, the food, the food. Personally, this is my preference. I don't think the food was all of that on Royal Caribbean. I think Royal Caribbean truly thrives off of just fun activities, music, dancing, parties versus the food. The food could have been so much better. Now, I do 100% believe that the restaurants where you have to pay a little extra, I'm pretty sure those foods were great. But the free options, to me, not that great. So, starting off with the Windjammer. So, the Windjammer is going to be the buffet. I personally felt like on this boat that the buffet was very small. I felt like the buffet could have been a lot bigger. To me, it felt very small for the amount of people. Now, the workers are like counting how many people are coming in the Windjammer, and I just felt like for them to be counting, they weren't really properly doing their job because they were definitely letting more people in that there were actual like seats. Every single day on that boat, it was extremely hard to find a seat in the Windjammer. I think the only day where it was really not that hard were like the days where we were at the ports. But for the most part, it was always really hard to freaking find a seat. By the time my boyfriend and I would get our plates of food, and walk around to try to find a seat, by the time we would sit down, our food was literally cold, like sometimes. So it is just very, very crowded. Again, it is an older boat. So I don't know if they really thought the process out when it came to the design of the buffet, but the buffet definitely could have been a lot larger. And I also felt like the food options could have been a little bit bigger. When I was on Norwegian, I would have to say I had a lot of things that I did not like about Norwegian. And to be honest, I probably will not be sailing Norwegian ever again because I did have a really bad experience with Norwegian. But what I will say is Norwegian had amazing food. I personally really loved the food options that Norwegian had to offer compared to what I had experienced on Royal. It was such like a step down. Now, there were things that were good. There were some things that were good that I really liked, but there were also things that I didn't really like. First thing being, I hated that the ice cream machine is all the way by the pool. I wish it was closer to the buffet side so that people in the buffet area could also have ice cream, or there was like multiple ice cream machines. So that was like one thing that kind of sucked, is that if I ever wanted ice cream, and I'm an ice cream person, ice cream is my favorite dessert, I would have ate ice cream so much more on the boat if it wasn't always by the pool. So that kind of sucked. Another thing, more like the dessert options, it was mainly just like cookies and like brownies, stuff. Like if you like that, then you like that. Me personally, like it was not like my whole thing. And like I said, the food options were not that big. I mean, it was like Asian type of food and then like American food with like burgers, chicken nuggets, and like that was kind of it. It wasn't like a whole lot of food options. So I wish just the Windjammer food options were more, and I also wish that the Windjammer was bigger specifically for this boat. Now, sometimes you'll probably see like the washy people, they're not washy on this boat. I don't think this is for every cruise. I'm not going to say that this is specifically for every single Royal Caribbean boat. I just am going to be saying it specifically for Oasis of the Seas, because I have seen plenty of TikToks where other Royal Caribbean boats, they are doing the whole washy, but on Oasis of the Seas, they're not dancing, they're not doing the whole washy. It's just they're saying washy, but they don't have all that energy. So if you're kind of like confused, it's different for every boat. Now, for the other like free food options that they have available, they have like a hot dog stand, which is going to be on the boardwalk area. They have hot dogs and they also have the sausages. I'm more of like a sausage person, so the sausages were great. They had different flavor sausages, which was really cool, and different toppings. So that's like another free option. It was really cool, but not something that I ate every day. I think I only went there like twice. So that was like another like free option. And then they also have, for free food, they also have the pizza. Now, everyone talks about the pizza. I really love the pizza. I can't lie to you. The pizza was probably the place that I ate the most at when I was on that boat. I was constantly eating that pizza. The pizza was really good. I personally really liked it. I liked that also, that if you wanted like a whole pizza, you could. If you wanted just a couple slices, you could. Whatever the case may be, they had different flavored pizzas. I really like the pizza, so that's another free option. And the pizza is 24 hours, so you can get it all throughout the day, all throughout the night. So I really enjoyed the pizza. Now, another free option that a lot of people probably don't know about is the cafe. So there are like two types of cafes. There's like a cafe where where like the garden is, and then there's like a cafe right next to where the pizzas are. Both of those cafes are free as well. They have like sandwiches, they have like salads. The only thing I wish those cafes would have had were soup. I wish they would have had more soup options. I think the cafe where the garden was only had one soup option, and it was something very random, but more soup options, like just period. There were like no soup options in the Windjammer. Like, I love soup, so I would have loved to have seen like just maybe some more soup options. There was like a chicken noodle soup on the menu for room service, but it would have been nice to also see maybe just like a couple more like soup options as well. Next, I want to talk about like some of the restaurants that they have. Now, obviously these restaurants are going to be things that you have to pay extra for. If you are looking to actually go to the restaurants and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, I would say either book your restaurant on the app before the cruise. You want to do it a couple of days before the cruise so you can get that deal, because a lot of the restaurants did have deals. They were like $20 to $30 cheaper than the normal price. So I would say either book it that way, or when you're on the cruise for like day 1 and 2, try to catch one of the workers that are walking around that are trying to offer restaurant deals. You will typically find them in the Windjammer. They're walking around with these like big menus of the different restaurants that they're giving deals for. And you want to try to catch one of those people to get you a deal for a restaurant if you are looking to eat at the restaurants. But I think like the highest price that we saw for one of the restaurants was like 70 something dollars per person. So you definitely want to try to catch you a deal and not have to pay all that much money. But they do have a lot of different restaurants to choose from that do cost money. They had like a sports bar that cost money. They also had like a barbecue spot that cost money. They had a hibachi spot, sushi, a steakhouse. I said Red Robin, but it's not Red Robin. It's actually Johnny Rockets. They have Johnny Rockets. Now, Johnny Rockets is free for breakfast, but it costs money for lunch and dinner. So those are like just some other options. But yeah, there's still like lots of food. But when it comes down to the free options, those are the ones that I named. Aside from the free are like the restaurants. And again, I definitely recommend trying to book on the app or through one of the workers to try to get you a good deal. This is going to be the main dining area. Now, the main dining area is free as well. That does come in like the food, like the free options. You can have a reserved dining time, but you don't always have to eat at that dining time. I know for me and my boyfriend, we went a couple hours before our dining time and we were still able to get a seat. It's just if they have the space to do so. Now they will tell you which dining, because on this boat there were like 2 or 3 different main dining areas, and you have to go to a specific one based off of like, I guess, your package or whatever. So we had to go to a specific one because we went to the wrong one the first time, so we had to go to the right one. The main dining area was pretty cool. Obviously it's like 4-course meal type of style. You get like your appetizer, and then you get like they bring the bread, and then you get your appetizer, you get your main course, you get a dessert, a drink, obviously. So it was really nice. A lot of people who cruise often will tell you not to pay for prepaid tips and to just bring your own money to tip like the staff. I definitely agree. I did personally pay for the prepaid tips, but moving forward when I cruise next, I probably won't pay for prepaid tips anymore because the tips do not actually go to the workers. It is easier to just bring your own cash and tip them as you go along. So we did tip our waiter from eating in the main dining area. We also tipped our housekeeper multiple times throughout the time we were there. We tipped a couple bartenders. So just bring your own money when it comes to the whole tipping thing. But specifically back to the main dining, the food was pretty good. Like, the food honestly was really good. We did not eat at the main dining area until about day 4 or 5. So we ate there pretty late. So we probably next time would try to take advantage of eating there a little bit more often. But one of my favorite things from eating in the main dining area was that after we ate our meal, we were able to take literally our entire meal to go. Like, we ate the meal and then we reordered a secondary meal. So my boyfriend and I think we both got steak. We were able to then order second steaks to take back to our room, which was really nice. Now, Keep in mind, if you're ever bringing food back to your room, there are no microwaves. There is no way to heat up your food. I have heard lots of stories of people who bring miniature air fryers on their cruise to be able to heat up their food. That is something that you really need to pack. Just want to be careful if you are choosing to bring like an air fryer on your cruise, because again, like, you're not going to be able to just easily get through security by just having that in like your carry-on bag, because it's going to be looked at as a fire hazard. So that's something that you're going to want to have to pack into like your suitcase or like something like that. But I have heard stories of people bringing air fryers on their boat. So if that's something that you want to do, take it with precaution, if that's what you choose to do. But yeah, the rooms do not have microwaves. The rooms do not have that. So there's really no way of like heating up your food for real when you're on a cruise. But we took ours right to our room and just ate it because we had, whatever. But that was really cool about eating in the main dining area. So it was a good experience. We pretty much enjoyed it. And then the last thing we're going to talk about when it comes down to food is going to be the room service. So we did take advantage of the room service, which was pretty cool. So like I said, we did get sick while we were on the boat. We didn't get like cray sick. Well, yeah, we did. We got a little sick on the boat. We got a little tiny sick on the boat. And I think it's because of the time of when we went on the boat. So we went on the boat during May, and we went early May. We went like the first week of May. So it was still springtime. It was still like chilly days. It wasn't like super hot outside. So because of like the wind, we dealt with the boat being a pretty rocky. The boat was really rocky the first day, and it was really rocky our last day coming back. And again, it's because we went during springtime, the wind, whatever. Best times to go if you're trying to avoid any of that would be to go during June, July, and like August. Those are like the best times to cruise, but they are more expensive if you cruise during those times, so keep that in mind as well. And that day we ended up spending most of our day just kind of chilling in the room. So we ended up ordering room service because we both were just kind of like being lazy. We didn't really feel like going out anywhere, so we ended up ordering room service. Now this is something that everyone might not know about Royal Caribbean, so let me be the one to help you guys, and let me be the one to tell you guys. Room service is really affordable on their boats. Room service is actually only $7.95 for room service. That is like the fee of ordering room service, but they do not charge you per what you order. So if you order chicken tenders and a sandwich, there's not a separate price per item. They're only charging you $7 for the service fee, the actually ordering the room service. Now, my room service ended up being a little bit more because I actually ended up ordering like 4 water bottles, because they don't do your drink package through the room service. Like if you're ordering it through them, they do charge you for the water bottles. So I ordered like 4 water bottles. So it was like the 4 water bottles plus the $7, but still very, very affordable. So if you are looking to order room service because you're like, I just want to spend a day in the room, like I don't want to do anything, I just want to chill in my room today, I just want something easy access, or it's like super late at night and you don't really want to go get the pizza, you want something different, room service. Now the room service was pretty cool. We got chicken tenders. I think the only thing that from the room service that was really disgusting was the grilled cheese, because the cheese was not melted. It was literally just sliced cheese and bread, so that sucked. But the chicken noodle soup was good. The chicken tenders were really good. They had burgers, they had pizza. The pizza was really great. Like, the room service was really good, and for $7, like, really good. Now we're down to our last 2 categories. So the next category we're going to be talking about is the spa, because I did go to the spa and I had a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I will continue to do spas on cruises. I absolutely love the spa. This was honestly my favorite and best part of the trip. So I did in fact go to the spa. So the first thing is that Royal Caribbean does offer spa raffles. So they had a spa raffle on the very first day of the cruise, which was the day that we boarded, not our first day at sea. It was like literally the first day. Honestly, like 2 hours after we got on the boat, they had a raffle, and then they had another spa raffle on like day 3 or 4. I would encourage anybody who is looking to actually go to the spa to go to the spa raffle. Do not go to the spa raffle if you don't actually plan on using your spa like winnings or whatever the case may be. Go if you genuinely plan on wanting to use the spa. So I did in fact go to the spa raffle. What you do is they give you a card, you write your name, your room number on it, and then they will pull your thing, and then you will win something. So they have all these different prizes. So they have about like 8 different prizes that they typically offer during each raffle. They start off with offering like little services. They'll offer like a free massage or acupuncture or a facial, and then they'll start getting into spa credits where they offered a $50 no, I think it was, yeah, it was like a $50, $75, and a $100 spa credit. So if you wanted to book a massage, but the massage was $100, then you had the spa credit. Now it's free kind of thing, which was really, really cool. Now, I did not win anything from any of the spa raffles, but I will continue to always go to a spa raffle no matter what to have a better chance of trying to get something. But just for going to the spa raffles, they do give you something just for going, because everyone doesn't go. Everyone doesn't go. Literally, the first raffle, there was probably 100 people that went, but when I went to the second day of the raffle, only like 20 people showed up. So you can kind of see a lot of, it's like better chances. Now, although I didn't win anything, they did offer something for people that did come. So during the second raffle was when the offer was a lot better. So they offered they offered a full body massage and a facial for $129. So I immediately booked it because I was like, what do you mean? I get a facial and a massage for $129? Yes, ma'am, sign me up. Let me do it, because like that's a good deal. And the reason too why this was such a good deal, because like I said, on the app, they're going to have all those deals. When I was on the app, I was going to book a massage through the app, but I was hesitating. By the time I got on the boat for day 1 and I saw how the prices went up, I was like, no, I'm not going to the spa no more. It's too expensive. But when they ended up offering me that deal, I was like, never mind. I'm going to take advantage of this. So I'm really happy that I got to experience it, because I did genuinely want to book something. I just think moving forward, I will book something for the spa in advance, but I will still continue to go to the spa raffles even though I had booked something in advance. But the deals are just better when you book early. But yeah, so I did get a full body massage. The first thing that I really loved was the spa atmosphere. It was nice and quiet. It smelled good. It was clean. It was really big. Like when I went down to the spa, I was like, this is the spa? Like, this whole thing exists on this ginormous boat. Like, the spa was huge. It was huge. Like, oh my gosh. Now, I didn't get a chance to see like the saunas and like where the pools and stuff were. I didn't get to see that. I wish I did. They were offering spa tours. So if you ever want to get a tour of the spa, you can definitely do so by doing that on the boat. That was something that I definitely missed out on though. But once I actually got there, I checked in. I was just waiting for my masseuse to come and greet me and just take me to the room. The first thing automatically that I absolutely loved was that my masseuse was actually a Black woman. I don't know if this is something that you can request, but I absolutely felt just really comfortable knowing that the person that was going to be doing my service was not only a woman, but also a person of color. So it made me feel very comfortable. It was also very beautiful to see how many women of color staff members that this boat had to offer. When I was on Norwegian, there were really no people of color that were workers, and I felt like the service was so bad, which is why I don't care what anybody says, I get a racist feeling from Norwegian. I don't know if it's the boat line itself, I don't know if it's the staff or it's the people that choose to go on Norwegian, but from my experience, I felt like the staff and the people there were very racist. So Royal Caribbean does not give me that vibe whatsoever, not at all. There were so many women of color staff members, not just in the spa, they were everywhere. So it was just beautiful to see, and it made me feel extremely comfortable. So the fact that the person who was doing my service was a woman of color, like I said, I was very comfortable. She came and got me. We did a consultation. She basically asked me what parts of my body really hurt, what kind of things do I do for work, so that she knew what areas to really target. And then I just got undressed, and she started with my back first. She used really warm oil to massage me. Girl, I was like in heaven. It felt so good. I literally at one point started to fall asleep because it was feeling so good. And then she flipped me over and then did like literally from my neck all the way down. She even did my hands, she did my feet, like literally everything. Now my facial though, it wasn't like a full facial, it was just like a collagen treatment where she just put like some collagen stuff on my face and just massaged my face for like about 15 minutes, like not even 15, like 10 minutes, like something really quick. So it wasn't like a whole like 9, but just the whole service was amazing, 10 out of 10. And now the very last thing that we're going to be talking about, because I'm already knowing this video is probably so long, but I wanted to give you guys everything that you needed to know about this cruise. The last thing I wanted to talk about is going to be customer service, because like I said, my last cruise that I went on, which was Norwegian, that was what had turned me off from ever going on a Norwegian boat, was just the service. I felt like the service was really bad, and it really, for me, just kind of came from like a racist kind of standpoint. I felt like the people were like either just really racist, or people were judging you based off of like your money, like if you were spending it or not. And my mom actually just got off a Norwegian boat, and it was actually their new boat, Norwegian Luna, and she actually had to say the same thing. She said the service was great, but she still kind of got like a racist vibe, just be based off of the type of people that were going on this boat. And she also said that she felt like people were very pocket watchy, like people were judging you based off of like your money. So that is just me. Norwegian, my family, I don't think we're ever going to be taking a Norwegian boat ever again. But Royal Caribbean really had just took it up a notch for me, because like I said, my last cruise, customer service, Royal Caribbean, amazing. The customer service was amazing. Anytime there was an issue, which I didn't really have an issue, I only had like one minor issue, they fixed it immediately. They were amazing. The service was a 10 out of 10. I felt like the best service that I got on the boat was going to be with my housekeeper slash room attendant slash butler. He was the best, which is why my boyfriend and I tipped him almost every single day when we were on that boat. We gave him a tip almost every day. At the very end of the boat, you can put their tip in an envelope, but for me, I just felt more comfortable handing him the tip and knowing that he was actually receiving it. And he was the best. He was probably the best service. But down to the bartenders, when I was on Norwegian, the bartenders were so rude. The bartenders on Royal were amazing. I mean, like I said, customer service was out of this world. And that's what really does it for me when it comes to businesses, whether it's a restaurant, a food place, a store, a cruise, a hotel. Customer service is like my biggest thing, because I used to work in customer service, and it's just really important how we're treating people. And customer service, amazing. Like 10 out of 10, the customer service was absolutely great. So that is one thing I can 100% say with confidence, was that the customer service, amazing. So that is everything that you need to know about sailing Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas out of Cape Liberty. I had an amazing time. I would say my overall rating for this cruise would be, I would say like a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. Really had a great time. I cannot wait to go on my next Royal boat. I'm hoping to get on my next Royal cruise by next summer. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let me know what cruise lines or specific boats that you guys want to see me take and see me talk about, because I would love to do more cruise videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.